Welcome to the Tree Book fan page. I'm Georgia Silvera Seamans, host of Your Bird Story.
And I'm Doug Still, host of This Old Tree podcast.
Well, listeners, Doug is going to review one of my all-time favorite books, and I'm sure it'll become one of yours as well. Doug, please tell us about today's book.
I didn't know it was your favorite. I'm talking about Ginkgo, The Tree That Time Forgot by Peter Crane. And I've come to this book because I was researching Ginkgo biloba for an upcoming episode of This Old Tree. And I wanted to share it because it's so fantastic. I'm glad you think so. The ginkgo seems to be one of the most popular trees. Everyone seems to love the fishtail shape of the leaves and loves to hate the smelly fruit from the female trees that litter sidewalks in some places. But this is a meaty book from a highly respected botanist and plant historian, Peter Crane. He's a Brit, and he's most known for his former role as director of the Royal Botanic Garden at Kew, and then later as dean of the Yale School of Forestry and Environmental Studies. One cool accolade is that Crane was knighted in 2004 in the UK for his services to horticulture and conservation. Written in 2015, Crane cites at the beginning of the book his decades-long obsession with ginkgo trees, sparked by the famous ginkgo at Kew when he worked there, which was planted in the 1760s and thought to be the oldest specimen in the world outside of East Asia. As many of us know, Ginkgo biloba is one of the oldest surviving species, period. Often called a living fossil, it probably dates back 250 million years, which is hard to wrap your mind around. In fact, Crane begins the book by addressing that sense of time and how the tree can be found in the fossil record worldwide, little changed. I really think Crane has a very active mind, and the book is thoughtfully written, divided up into 37 chapters with one-word titles like time, extinction, renewal, and ending with a chapter called Legacy. It's an exhaustive history, but it never feels so. Each chapter feels like its own engaging essay, so you can skip around if you'd like as well. You'll find definitive discussions from everything you may have wondered about regarding ginkgo trees. You'll find chapters on the unique biology of ginkgo, its initial worldwide range, why it declined to near extinction, its persistence and rediscovery, and the cultural associations in China, Japan, and Korea, and its resurgence. Aside from the top-notch botanical histories, I'd like to read a lovely passage describing cultural history that you'll find at the very end of the book. In the mid-19th century, when the ancient Huiji Temple in Tangquan County, not far from Nanjing, China, fell into disrepair and was lost, it was the two great ginkgos that grew close to where it once stood that kept its memory alive. They also came to preside over the small ginkgo orchard planted beneath them. When I visited in August 2008, the temple was being rebuilt, and both ginkgos were wrapped in red ribbons. Some had wishes of all kinds written on them. Other visitors had expressed their hopes more directly in neat vertical columns of Chinese characters written on small bare patches of wood where the bark had been worn away. These trees are important in their community. Local people still go there to pray. Late in the afternoon, as we left to return to Nanjing, a young woman arrived. She looked nervously behind her to be sure that we were leaving, then made her way to one of the two great ginkgos and stood alone in a few moments of quiet contemplation. Many others from previous generations had stood there before her.
That's really beautiful. One of the pieces of scientific information that I took away from this book, and I often refer to it, is a phrase that I first read in Peter Crane's book. The phrase is leaky males, referring to the fact that even though you have separate female trees and separate male trees, there are male trees that will produce fruit, which I'm putting in air quotes because they're not botanically fruit, since the ginkgo is a gymnosperm. And there are often giggles when I say leaky males.
Yeah, right. Every once in a while, a male tree will produce the fruit. So these types of passages are interspersed within the biology. And overall, I'd say this is a definitive book on ginkgo trees. And I'd say a worthy book to own by any lover of trees for any reason.
I agree, Doug. I mean, there is something so special about taking a deep dive into a single species. And listeners, if you like what you've heard, you can purchase Ginkgo, the Tree That Time Forgot by Peter Crane using the affiliate link on this page. 10% goes to support our efforts, and 10% goes to support local bookstores. Thanks for joining us on the Tree Book fan page. See you next time.
And keep reading.